In this phenomenal video put together by Jason A. in the video entitled Prophecy is Happening Now, 2018 through 2019, it's really important that you hear what this Davos 2018 speaker Yuval Harari says. Let's listen.
But mandating governments to nationalize the data may curb the power of the big corporations only in order to give rise to digital dictatorships.
The things that developers are saying are, well, we'll develop in 10 years or 15 years are beginning to hit the market within 2 to 3 and 4 years. And the biggest challenge is which one's going to win out, because there's multiple developers who are working all of these things at the same time. And who knows? Because they recognize they can become extremely wealthy, even more wealthier than they are right now. So that right now we have 75 technology companies that are richer than 80% of the nations in the world. That Apple is wealthier than almost every other nation upon the planet, except for the United States. And you realize we have moved from this place of having national sovereignty to now we have corporate sovereignty based upon technological development and revolution.
And if democracy cannot adapt to these new conditions, then humans will come to live under the rule of digital dictatorships. And already at present, we are seeing the formation of more and more sophisticated surveillance regimes throughout the world, not just by authoritarian regimes, but also by democratic governments. The US, for example, is building a global surveillance system, while my home country of Israel is trying to build a total surveillance regime in the West Bank.
Okay, wait a minute. Did you hear what Yuval just said? He said that the United States of America is building a global surveillance system. He is at Davos, and he is speaking as a keynote speaker to the entire global entity of all the heads of state, all the countries' leaders, all the political scientists that were invited, all the professors that were invited, all of your million and billion dollar, possibly trillion dollar globalists that were there, Bill Gates, those types of individuals were all there to hear about this globalism that we're going towards, that they want to do. And Yuval goes into splitting it wide open and admitting that the United States is setting up a global surveillance system. For those of you who are very aware of the book of Revelation, aware of the book of Daniel, it is not surprising to hear that these developments, this 2018, are occurring, and that the United States is being led down that path by this person right here. Okay, he's in control, driving this thing, and while he's pretending, friends, to be a nationalist, it's very easily documented that he has famous globalists like Kissinger advising him. So this is a double agent right here who's pretending he's an actor. He's playing a role for you. He is playing the role of a Christian nationalist, making America great again, to your faces and to the cameras, pandering to that, when in all reality, if you listen to what Yuval is saying and the other global leaders and their speeches, that we're going to unite in unity for peace and safety, another speaker from the Baha'i faith says, which you'll know is very dangerous, especially when you start talking about how Paul warned us that when they cry peace and safety, it will come on them, this destruction, like a woman in travail. It all keeps going back to this imagery you see with the fifth the fifth feast, the Feast of Trumpets. And anybody can look and see that Jesus is a September 11th, 3 BC Feast of Trumpets baby, and that 2018 is most famously Israel's 70th birthday. And we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But what I really want you to key into is that you have the entire global leadership sitting here listening to this admission that the United States is in fact very much part and parcel of this global entity that is establishing a surveillance system. And so if you're familiar with movies like The Circle that Hollywood has produced and is telling you is fake, you will understand that in all reality, this is the truth. This is what is being done. And you will understand Revelation 17 and 18 and 13 and the book of Daniel much easier, and understand that we are in fact coming to those times of them establishing and setting up a beast kingdom in anticipation of their Antichrist beast, this savior that they will procure for themselves. So we're there, friends. Now, not only is it just what was said at Davos 2018 in January, but if you go to the National Geographic magazine put out February 28th, which also coincides with the World Summit, which was done in February as well, where their main topics were globalism, the unification of the world religions, and this flavor of happiness and all these different ways that we're supposed to be more happy now that we're one. So these are all lies to help the medicine go down easier so that they can trap us up. Like Jesus warned in Luke 21, he talked about a snare coming. And he talked about that same snare in Revelation 3:10 and said that the true church, which is worldwide, his true bride, is exempt from that time of testing coming upon the whole world. It should cause you significant concern. And my point here is to raise awareness that this year of 2018 is like no other year. And so in this National Geographic, which we actually got the magazine here, here's the digital edition, and I don't know how much is conveyed on this, but to bring you straight into the point, it says they are watching you and everything else on the planet. And so this is a particular scene where they delved into looking at London. And London has, lots of surveillance. China is also very much fully embracing and doing a lot of test market stuff for beast system setups with the technology and the AI trapping people up. So this is happening. This is no longer expecting and thinking that, Revelation is way far out and it's not affecting this. You need to understand that you're being hemmed in now to a trap. And the church is exempt from this in Revelation 3:10 and Luke 21. But for those of you who are not saved, this is being done whether you like it or not, and it's not going to have a good outcome, which is why I encourage people to crack open the book of Revelation and start reading it, start understanding what's happening in your world. So anyhow, in this National Geographic, they go into a huge laundry list of different applications as to why they're watching, and there are some very, very good things that they're doing with it. Don't they always do that? Don't they always try to do some good with it? But you have to ask yourself, well, what are the nefarious aspects of what could be happening? And they admit in this magazine that they are taking 1.3 million captures of information and pictures daily, not yearly, daily. And so they have access to this technology. The front cover of it, which I don't have here, is the satellites. And technology and our increasing demand for security have put us all under surveillance. Is privacy becoming just a memory? So they're prepping you for this. They're not asking if this should be done. They're telling you it is being done. And so You need to understand that in America and the world abroad, they are putting 5G everywhere. So it's not just little local spots, hot spots they call them, where you can get on the internet. No, it's going to be worldwide, and they want to be able to put smart chips in everything. And it also would behoove you to understand that you also get to be a part of this brain chip experience. And so there's a very famous TED Talk that I want to share with you. Okay, so 2018 is also the year of the brain chip interface and the research that is being done. And it's right here at this TEDx CIBS right here. I highly recommend you go check this out. And this gentleman right here, Shaking My Head Productions, he did some information in this. And it's very important for you to understand that they want to have this wireless world where everybody is hooked up and connected to the internet and connected to the AI and connected to one another. And he is just one more gentleman, along with many others at Davos and this TED Talks that I'm discussing, where they openly communicate that humans are God. They're very vocal about that. You should hear that for yourself. 2018 also is the year where Israel is celebrating her 70th year from, I guess it's May 14th, 1948 to 2018. And so that 70-year happy birthday is very significant because they also have a chip coin coming out with Trump's face, and they're selling this coin to procure funds for building this third temple. The third temple is important to know if you read Revelation 11. In fact, it is such an act of wickedness that it brings forth the two witnesses who may in fact be Moses and Elijah. Some people think Enoch and Elijah. I am of the opinion it's Moses and Elijah. Nonetheless, it is something that is so egregious to the rejection of the Messiah that it brings judgment. And so let me show you those coins. Okay, so these are the kinds of things shaping up. Here is this Cyrus and Trump coin that's being sold to obtain funds for building this third temple, and Yehuda Glick will tell you that they're very happy to have the outside court of it to be filled with all the false gods, which is going to be a problem, a big problem. Here's the other side of the coin. Let's click on that. So the silver half shekel, here you go. And there is your menorah right there. Okay, so here's the article that you can look at for yourself later at Breaking Israel News. And it was done on the 15th of February. And so Christians would know that doing things to bring the third temple are not Christian. They are Antichrist. But this is being done in accord with him moving our embassy to Jerusalem to celebrate the 70 years. So this 2018 70 years is huge. It's unlike any other period of time. Okay, so I love that he superimposed this Daniel 2:43 and the iron mixed with the miry clay, this AI mixed with the human that is talked about in Daniel, and it does not go well for people, this final empire. And it seems to be part of the Daniel judgment of the 490 years when Israel would not allow the land to rest. And so 483 of it, there were Gentiles that were ruling Israel as punishment. And we have this final 7 years of the Gentiles ruling Israel. And Israel is going to be put into a union like all of us, regionalism, the Club of Rome. So we have the 7 years coming up, and we have these developments where people want to put brain chips in you, friends. And of course, they sell it like it's a good thing. They sell it like this is going to help a lot of people. But what you don't realize is by the end of it, he's saying that us humans are gods. And he explains that in this one world virtual reality existence that we will all have, We will all be one. We will all be God, and it's done through this technology. And when you understand and you listen to what he has to say for this whole entire thing, you will understand the egregious sins that are coming, and Revelation 17 and 18 and 13 will begin to make more sense to you than probably ever before. And it's all happening this 2018.